Now, like I said, I can't figure out if this is Sheena or Maribel or Daphne or whoever, right? Or Sal or someone from her family, right? Either, right? And like I said, or even Amanda herself. But the reason is, okay, you are Forbes, if it's you. Maribel never met you, right? Or Daphne. But Jonathan she met, right? So I don't know what her deal was with that, but no. But again, right? Sheena didn't meet Maribel or Daphne or anyone. I'm out her life by then. I moved on, right? She forced me to eventually, right? So what did I do wrong there? Nothing. Nothing. That's what I keep telling you, right? Now, if you do have sex with some woman, right, and she's acting like you're supposed to know how she feels about that when she didn't say nothing directly to you about that, right? Who's being self-righteous there? She is. She is. Right, right. Now, you also told her you done had sex with 5 other women before her, right? And you're offering her oral sex the night before, right? Which to you normally leads to what, right? Straight sex. If she thinks something, right, what does she normally have to do to convey it? Say it, right? If you say to me, Shane, I'm waiting for marriage, I know you're waiting for marriage and wouldn't cross that line and would have only ate you out and done oral sex on you. That's all I can say, right? But if I didn't know that, right, and I make love to you with the oral sex, you got to distinguish that before the day we went off by ourselves, right? If you didn't distinguish that, I didn't know that, right? And your little prophetess don't matter, right? From your church, right? She has nothing to do with what we did. I know. Plus, women don't normally listen like men don't normally listen either when someone tells them beware of someone, right? And it's called the heat of the moment, honey, right? And no clear boundaries, right? Now, I understand what you were saying about your dad doing what he did to you because I had a friend, ex-girlfriend, had the same issue with her dad, right? And again, right, I don't know if women are doing it or not, right? Like, right, or young women are being raped by their dad, right? And the reason it's rape, and it's the same with Eve, is you have the dad figure seducing the daughter because she thinks she's another man's child, right? But he don't know that. Or he's twisting Lot's tail about sleeping with his 2 daughters. So they had to get Lot drunk. And then you got Noah and Canaan, right? Not Noah and Ham, Noah and Canaan. Canaan was the one who was cursed to be a servant of servants, right? Not Ham, not him. So Noah's in his tent naked with someone. Who do you think that is by who he was cursed? Canaan, right? But they want to make you think it's him, the people I've heard the story from in the South, right? It wasn't him, right? See, what they're trying to say there is him is the father of the Ethiopians, so all black people got to be your slaves. Liar. No. They're not. And it was Canaan that was cursed, which was his son, right? Not, again, even his firstborn, even, right? He was one of 2 or 3 children, right? And I think maybe the third child, anyway, right? Who was in his grandfather's tent, naked, with him too, right? What do you think it's really saying, right? Now, you might say, well, Shay, you're revealing, yeah, because you're misinterpreting it, applying it to all Ham's offspring, right? You can't do that either. Only one of them was mentioned by name, right? And that was Canaan, who was cursed, right? And that would be the shock Ham had, right? Seeing his son and his father in the tent naked together. Them both drunk from wine, right? But that's what wine can do to anybody, even Noah, even righteous Noah, right? And even righteous Lot. Let his daughters get him drunk. And Noah planted a vineyard, and Canaan somehow crept into the scene, right? Before morning, and Ham caught them together and told Shem and Jephthah, and again, right? But that's part of the story. How do you know that happened or not, though? By reading the whole story, right? It's telling you what happened, right? Except this was his male grandson. Okay. Now, usually, like I told you, though, when someone's accusing you of doing something wrong, they're probably doing something worse than you. Right? If you're calling me gay, what the hell are you doing? That you think I would be gay myself, right? Unless you had a sex change, like I said, and are lying about it, right? I don't know that. I don't know that. That's the thing about a sex change. Externally, you look like a woman. You look like unto a woman. Just like Jesus looked like unto a son of man. In Revelations, anyway. The thing is, though, when he's clothed and in his element, which is preaching to the people, everyone believed him a man. Until he's on the cross. Then even John changes his ethos to Blastoise, right? Okay. And you don't want to hear the truth. And he knows the difference between an overweight man, I'm sure, in his garment, versus someone who has both breasts. That looks like a man externally, right? And again, another problem is if you make him male up to then, and he really turned out to be androgynous, you again make the male, if he was androgynous, the laughing Messiah. And the real Messiah on the cross was androgynous, right? The Gnostics are trying to tell you something in a metaphor, right? Because, see, they all thought him a man. Until he was on the cross. Right? Now, when you're on the cross, the only thing you have on is a what? Loincloth. Loincloth. So you're half naked, right? Right. Only have on a garment to cover your loins area. Yet still, John said in Revelations, right, he has mastoids, right, or female breasts, right. And there's only one place you can see him naked, on the cross, or at the baptism of John the Baptist, who said he has right as drunkard, but whatever. But what does that mean, right? It also means Jesus could be legally married like Joseph and Mary and still didn't have sex with his wife. But she committed adultery against him. And he just forgave her, and he just forgave her. Whole point of his ministry, ain't it? Right. Forgive to be forgiven, right? Why is it he practicing what he preached? Or is he? He is, right? The wife and woman he talked to, and John changes the word from wife to woman, right? As you read on that, right? He uses the same word Matthew uses for when Joseph legally married Mary, though he didn't have sex with her till after she had Jesus, right? But then James and Josie comes along, and she's the mother of those two, right? Unless you think Mary's going to get a different Mary than his mother. But she's also the mother of James and Josie as well. Right? So, they also had sisters in there. Mm-hmm. But she's just a surrogate mother, too, right? See, that's another thing you can't grasp. The Lord in the flesh is the angel that went before them and led them out of Egypt, right? The good one. Not the bad one, not the bad one. The bad one manifested himself in Eden to trick us into the knowledge of good and evil, right? The tree of life was trying to warn us about that, right? He's the one talking to Adam in the voice of God, right? The serpent speaking to Eve is Satan behind the tree using his penis as bait. Okay. Right. Because if you're Eve and you don't know the serpent on the tree limb really attached to the body of Satan, and that's how he's talking to you, right? Because he's hiding behind the tree, right? And you're talking to him on the tree limb, right? Like the serpent's trying to eat a piece of fruit, right? Okay. Right. Two. The fig tree. How do I say the fig tree? Well, the fig leaves were made for them as aprons to cover their genitals. You know. Mm-hmm. Now, I've wore a beard before when I was a little boy, so that food wouldn't fall on my chest as I was eating, right? But I never wore an apron if I bite into a piece of fruit. You still won't see the metaphor, will you? Of what the apron is covering. The genitalia they were sinned with by eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, being the body of Satan himself, right? And they ate of the fruit of his body, right? Meaning he was trying to conceive with Eve and Adam. Damn. Because he was both. He was both too. As was the tree of life, both, right? But he became the tree of death, right? Too. His works brought